Have you ever found it puzzling that some people appear to negotiate life with such calm confidence, while others are often caught in drama and distractions? Often the solution is one straightforward habit: knowing what to keep private. Better still than anyone, the Stoics grasped this. They taught that maintaining your tranquility, safeguarding your energy, and living with intention are just as important as hiding some facets of your existence. Today's video delves into 7 things an intelligent person always keeps private. These are the spheres of life where one should give quiet thought instead of public debate. And as we investigate each one, I will offer ageless insights from Stoic philosophy to show you why keeping these things to yourself isn't just smart. It's necessary for living a meaningful, empowered life. By the end of this video, you will see why privacy is a superpower rather than only a virtue. Let's get started. Number 1. Personal goals. Let's begin with one of the most important aspects of a life that is happy and fulfilling: your own goals. One of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, Seneca, is credited as saying, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." As a component of that learning process, your goals serve as a roadmap for your own personal development and exploration of who you are. The issue, however, is that if you reveal your objectives too soon, it may have unintended consequences that you did not anticipate. You run the danger of opening the door to skepticism, diversions, and even envy when you discuss your aspirations so early on in the process. Imagine that you have just taken a seed and planted it in a rich soil. What if you were to bring it out of the ground every day to demonstrate to other people how it is developing? No, of course not. In order to ensure that it is able to flourish on its own, you would allow it to grow in peace, shielded from any outside influences. It is similar to exposing a seed to strong winds when you share your aspirations early on. It weakens the foundation before it has even had the opportunity to mature. The illusion of progress is just another reason why you should keep your ambitions kept a secret. It is possible to get a sense of success when you discuss your goals, as if saying them out loud brings you closer to realizing them in some way. It is a trap, however. Not all actions are actions. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it, Seneca reminds us again and again. One of the ways in which we waste valuable time and energy is by talking without accomplishing anything. This sentiment was mirrored by Marcus Aurelius, who stated, "Do not waste any more time arguing about what a good man ought to feel like. Take a stand." That is also true for your objectives. Start doing what you're going to do without wasting time talking about it. It is not the announcement that is the source of actual development. Rather, it is the quiet work that is done consistently. This is comprised of a further layer. Your vision will not be understood or supported by all of the people in your life. It is not their path. Rather, it is yours. And that is just fine. Sharing your objectives with the wrong people, nevertheless, can lead to unfavorable outcomes. Some people may project their concerns, doubts, or insecurities onto you, whether those people are aware of it or not. An instant later, your reluctance transforms into their skepticism. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself, Marcus Aurelius counseled us, and we should heed his advice. To do this, you must safeguard your goals from others, who may unwittingly divert your attention away from them. If you have a goal in mind, please avoid the impulse to share it with others. This is something you can do right now. Instead, jot it down in a journal and keep it there. It should be broken down into steps that can be taken, and you should begin working on it in private. Have a private celebration of your accomplishments. In the event that the results are revealed, they will say more clearly than any words could possibly imagine. Let us not envy others, but let us strive to become our own standard of excellence, Seneca said, putting it in a way that was really beautiful. Instead of focusing on impressing other people, your goals should be about learning how to become the best version of yourself. One thing that you can do right now is to fight the impulse to share your objective with others if you have one in mind. You should instead jot it down in a journal. To begin working on it in private, first break it down into actionable steps. In secret, rejoice in your achievements. They will speak louder than any words could possibly hope to do when the results are revealed. Let us not envy others, but let us strive to become our own standard of excellence, Seneca said wonderfully. Let us not envy others. Making the most of who you are as an individual should be your primary focus, rather than trying to impress other people. Number 2, financial information. The second item on our list is your financial situation, which is a topic that has a significant impact on how other people see you and how they interact with you. On one occasion, Epictetus made the following statement: "Wealth does not consist in having great possessions, but in having few wants." These ageless words of wisdom serve to remind us that topics pertaining to finances are intensely personal and ought to be kept private. Give it some thought. Whenever you talk about your income, investments, or financial troubles in an open manner, you put yourself in a position where you are vulnerable to judgment, which can take many different forms. It's possible that people will be envious of your success, question your spending habits, or even worse, attempt to exploit you for their own benefit. An excessive amount of sharing might lead to vulnerabilities. It may result in animosity from people who consider you to be too lucky, or it may motivate others to feel sorrow for you because they perceive you to be struggling. You will be put in a position of emotional and social risk in one of the two scenarios. When it comes to matters of money, a person who is clever is aware of the significance of privacy. By disclosing your current financial situation, regardless of whether it is favorable or unfavorable, you divert attention away from what is truly important: your capacity to efficiently manage and expand your resources. According to Seneca, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. This is a remarkably insightful statement. To achieve financial security, it is not necessary to flaunt one's riches, but rather to develop it in a manner that is in harmony with one's requirements and principles. What is it about talking about money that makes it so tempting? A person's self-worth is frequently connected to their financial standing in today's environment. This phenomenon is amplified by social media, which makes it simple to fall into the trap of enjoying success in broadcasting. It doesn't matter if you're bragging about your new automobile, discussing your investing successes, or venting about your financial misfortunes. These acts move the focus outward, inviting attention that isn't essential and opinions that are frequently unwelcome. You have power over your mind. You do not have control over external events, Marcus Aurelius said. Recognize this, and you will discover the strength you need. You are able to preserve control over the decisions that you make when you use caution with regard to your financial information. You are able to concentrate on what is genuinely important, which includes your financial objectives, the well-being of your family, and your own mental tranquility, rather than worrying about what other people think. Allow me to remind you that there is also a safety component involved here. By disclosing your current financial situation, you may become a target for others who have malicious motives. It might be as overt as someone trying to take advantage of you, or it could be as covert as someone trying to influence your purchasing patterns in order to look like other people. Keeping your financial matters private is not about maintaining a sense of secrecy. Rather, it is about safeguarding your future, your family, and yourself. In such case, what is the alternative? You should allow your activities and lifestyle to subtly reflect the fact that you are doing well. It is not necessary to make you aware of it. In the event that you are confronted with difficulties, you should think about seeking advice from a financial expert or a reliable confidant, someone who is able to provide you with actual solutions rather than simply opinions. The fewer individuals who are aware of your financial situation, the more flexibility you have to make decisions that are in line with your objectives rather than those that are based on the expectations of another person. The practical lesson that I will leave you with is that you should begin to think of your financial information as a border, one that only the most trusted people in your life are permitted to breach. It is inevitable that people will respect this limit if you do so, and when you acquire riches, whether it be financial or in the sense of contentment, you will do so on your own terms, not dependent on the fact that you are being validated by others. Number 3. Family problems. The institution of the family is revered. According to Marcus Aurelius, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This statement was initially written by Aurelius. This remark serves as a powerful reminder that the way you think about and manage your relationships is what determines the overall harmony of those ties. This is especially true when it comes to matters that pertain to the family. You may be attracting unneeded negativity into your thoughts and into the relationships you have when you talk about family concerns on a frequent basis, especially with people who are not in your close circle. This is especially true when you interact with people who are not in your inner circle. Let us be truthful. There is no such thing as a family that is perfect in every way. As a natural and unavoidable component of the human experience, disagreements, misunderstandings, and even more deep confrontations are all things that have the potential to occur. Those who are astute, on the other hand, are aware that bringing these challenges to the notice of the general public usually seldom, if ever, results in a resolution. On the other side, it has the ability to intensify tensions that are already there, to lead to misunderstandings, and even to destroy the trust that is already present within your family. It is possible that gossiping about a mistake made by a sibling or a decision made by a parent may feel therapeutic at the time, but it frequently leaves scars that are lifelong. I have something to tell you. Dealing with problems that develop within a family is not a spectator event. You should not watch it. Bringing in outsiders, particularly those who do not have a thorough understanding of the problem or an emotional participation in it, frequently makes the situation much more problematic than it would have been otherwise. Rather of seeking confirmation or compassion from other individuals, smart people choose to resolve issues that arise within their families in a private setting. They approach these issues with love, patience, and a willingness to listen to what other people have to say, despite the challenges they face. He is attributed with saying, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Epictetus is credited with making this statement. The use of this principle is an absolute requirement whenever one is dealing with matters that concern to the family. Having stated that, I am not meaning to imply that you should shoulder every burden by yourself. At times, it may be incredibly advantageous to share your issues with a trustworthy confidant or to seek the advice of a therapist who is trained in the profession. Both of these options involve seeking assistance. On the other hand, the most essential thing is to possess sound judgment, which entails being aware of who should be involved and how much information should be provided. It is likely that you will not only create an unfavorable perception of your loved ones if you overshare family concerns with friends, co-workers, or acquaintances, but you also run the risk of acquiring advice that may not be in the best interest of your family. This is because you are exaggerating the degree to which you share your family's problems with other people. Seneca was once cited as saying, "If you wish to be loved, love." This comment was made in the past. This piece of guidance is directly applicable to the manner in which you address conflicts that arise within your family. In order to successfully resolve disagreements, compassion and not condemnation is something that is required. Putting the relationship ahead of the dispute and focusing on understanding rather than being understood by the other person are also components of this approach. When you have the ability to maintain privacy on matters that pertain to your family, you are able to establish these ties on your own without the influence of perspectives from outside sources. Now, with that being said, I have a question for you. The next time you feel the want to vent about an issue in your family, ask yourself whether or not sharing this knowledge would help the situation, or whether or not it will make the situation much worse. Instead, you should take a step back, consider the problem at hand, and think about how you may approach it in a way that is both compassionate and discretionary. In many cases, the outcomes are significantly more positive when problems that are related to the family are resolved in a manner that is both private and sensitive. Number 4. Relationship drama. Now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about relationships, which are something that can impact your mental and emotional stability dramatically. Associate with people who are likely to improve you, Seneca told his followers at one point in time. Not only does this govern your interactions with your friends and co-workers, but it also pertains to the romantic relationships you have. Respect for one another, trust in one another, and discretion are the cornerstones of a robust and successful partnership. When you talk about the drama that is going on in your relationship, you are inviting the opinions of other people into a space that ought to be private and designated for the two of you. Take into consideration the following. The more you discuss the problems you are experiencing in your relationship with other people, the more you water down the closeness and personal connection that ought to be at the center of it. With the participation of other people, you bring judgments, biases, and recommendations from the outside world into a location that was intended to be private. It is possible for this to lead to misunderstandings, additional tension, and even the breaking down of the relationship. The place that is supposed to be a secure sanctuary for both spouses is now open to the scrutiny of those who do not have a deep understanding of the dynamics that exist between the two of you. Being intelligent means being aware of the fact that the strength of a connection is directly proportional to the degree to which both parties respect and communicate with one another. This connection can be weakened by expressing one's complaints in public or by seeking validation from other people. On the other side, people who are able to handle their relationships in a sensible manner prefer to work through challenges in private, which enables them to have conversations that are honest and vulnerable without the burden of external judgment occurring. According to a quote attributed to Marcus Aurelius, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Therefore, when it comes to relationships, the way in which you choose to handle disputes in your mind and heart has a direct impact on the harmony that you experience. When anything goes wrong, it is simple to slip into the trap of seeking counsel from acquaintances or members of one's own family. It is a fact, however, that each and every relationship is one of a kind. People who are not a part of the situation typically only see a small portion of the whole, and their counsel could not be useful or might even make the situation more tense. A quote attributed to Seneca states that, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Self-mastery is of utmost significance in the context of interpersonal relationships. Controlling the impulse to overshare or to rely on other people to fix your difficulties is something you need to do. You and your spouse are the only ones who have the ability to fully comprehend the situation and the circumstances around it. You should ask yourself, will sharing this with others help or hurt the situation? The next time you are confronted with a struggle in your relationship, this is some advice that you should take into consideration. Intimacy flourishes when it is private. In order to maintain healthy relationships, it is essential to exercise discretion and respect for one another. When you choose to tackle your problems in private, you give yourself and your spouse the ability to work through the issues in a manner that improves your connection, rather than producing stress that is not necessary. Number 5. Good deeds. It's possible that you haven't given much thought to this one: your acts of kindness. A person's worth is measured by the worth of what they value. Marcus Aurelius taught his students a long time ago. That which we hold dear, as well as the acts that we conduct in accordance with those values, are a direct expression of our character. This means it is not a need for recognition that should motivate you to do good in the world. Rather, it should be a place of true intention, rather of advertising the act itself, which is the reward. The act itself is the reward. You have assisted a friend who is going through a difficult period, or you have contributed to a cause that is very important to you. You might find yourself concentrating more on how other people react to the act of kindness you performed if you quickly tell everyone about it. Making a positive contribution is not done with the intention of receiving praise or a pat on the back. The growth that you experience as a result of the impact that you have on the world is what matters. You run the risk of changing that basic motivation into something about ego or validation if you make it public, however. No man has ever been able to acquire greatness via renown alone. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, knew this when he made this statement. The recognition is not the genuine source of glory. Rather, the true glory comes in the activity itself. If you want to be a decent person, you should always do nice things from the heart. This includes helping someone who is in need, volunteering your time, and donating money to a cause. If you want to be virtuous, you should act in a way that is congruent with your beliefs and beneficial to other people. You should not act in this manner because you want other people to perceive you as virtuous. In and of itself, the act is a reward. It is not the number of individuals who are aware of what you have accomplished that determines your value. Rather, it is the motivation that is behind it. Because it helps to maintain the integrity of your activities, keeping your good deeds a secret is a powerful strategy. In addition to demonstrating true compassion, you are also removing the ego from the picture when you conduct an act of kindness without the expectation of receiving acclaim for it. Your good deeds run the risk of becoming more about how other people perceive you the more you share them with other people. You move the focus away from the act itself and onto the person who is carrying it out. On the other hand, if you choose to keep it a secret, you assure that the goodness will continue to be about the impact rather than the "look at me" element. Let's take a look at a straightforward illustration. Let's imagine you have made a donation to a charity that is very important to you without revealing your identity. You give to something that is in line with your ideals, and as a result, you feel good about it. Now, Picture yourself going to work the following day and briefly mentioning your donation to your co-workers. Immediately you are hoping for acknowledgement or approval. Were they of the opinion that it was a worthy act to carry out? Is the charity that you have shown them impressive? The peaceful gratification that comes from simply knowing that you made a difference has been taken away from you as a result of your decision to help others. It was clear to Marcus Aurelius that this was the case. He made the following statement: "The best way to exact revenge is to be unlike him who caused the injury." This notion applies not only to how we react to conflict, but also to how we go about living our lives throughout our lives. The calm satisfaction that comes from knowing that you have acted in accordance with your ideals is the finest reward for doing good. Others' recognition is not the best reward for doing good. If you are the only person who knows about it, it is the gratification that comes from making the world a little bit better. Keeping your excellent deeds to yourself is not a matter of modesty. Rather, it is a matter of practicing humility. It is not about making yourself appear good when you help other people. Rather, it is about doing what is true. This indicates that your virtue is not defined by the acclaim you receive from others, but rather by your dedication to the things that you consider to be of genuine value. What you do is an expression of who you are, not what you want other people to see, and when you keep your good deeds private, you safeguard that purity and demonstrate that what you do is part of who you are. When you are doing something good in the future, whether it be assisting a friend, donating your time, or supporting a cause, you should ask yourself, am I doing this for the right reasons, or am I hoping for external validation? Your actions will be able to speak louder than words ever could if you want to keep them private. Number 6. Future plans. The future is something we should discuss. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus advised, "Do what you have to do." This piece of advice is quite strong. You are the one who has the power to construct your own destiny, and the manner in which you choose to share or not share it with other people is a matter of strategy. It is possible to invite a wide variety of external influences, such as criticism, unwelcome advice, or even sabotage from those who might not comprehend your vision if you expose your ideas too early. Take, for example, the fact that you are enthusiastic about a new project, an ambitious goal, or a change in your area of work. The natural inclination is to tell the world. After all, exchanging your enthusiasm with others can feel like a validation of your feelings. However, if you reveal your intentions before they have been finalized, you leave the door open for other people to project their uncertainties, anxieties, or preconceptions onto your journey through life. This might easily cause you to lose concentration on the task at hand. That not everything needs to be communicated is something that intelligent people are aware of. In point of fact, there is strength in being mysterious. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. Rather, it is because we do not dare that they are difficult. This is a statement made by Seneca, a Stoic philosopher. You not only shield yourself from detrimental influences from the outside world, but you also construct a solid basis from which to take action by keeping your goals a secret. There is no need to seek validation before you have even taken the first step on your journey. Your outcomes will speak for themselves. When you let your actions to speak for themselves, you give the world the opportunity to see the results of your effort, unencumbered by the cacophony of opinions that have not been earned. They don't waste time telling everyone what they plan to do, because they are too busy carrying out their plans. Think about the finest performers in any industry. As soon as individuals become aware of what they have accomplished, it is already too late to condemn or impede the progress that they have made. Their accomplishment is the source of all the loudness. Consequently, why do we even bother to discuss our plans in the first place? One of the contributing factors is the human need to feel validated. If we want to hear that our ideas are good, that other people believe in us, or that our goals are worthy of being pursued, we want to hear those things. You run the risk of diverting your focus away from taking action and into the world of seeking acceptance when you give other people an excessive amount of insight into your future. You are preoccupied with the opinions of other people, which prevents you from concentrating on finding ways to make things happen. Epictetus underlined that our power lies in our capacity to govern how we react to the different things that are going on in the world around us. It is not the events that occur to you that are important. What is important is how you respond to them. Your ability to exercise control over the manner in which you approach the procedure is preserved if you keep your future plans a secret. Neither the demand for approval nor the influence of voices from the outside world will be able to affect your decision. What really important is your capacity to concentrate on the tasks that need to be completed in order to turn your idea into a reality. When you are next tempted to tell everyone about your goals for the future, remember to take a moment to pause. Am I sharing this because I'm seeking approval or because I'm genuinely excited to make it happen? Are some questions you should ask yourself? Your actions should be kept quiet, and the results should be the ones to create the noise. You'll discover that the trip itself is more fulfilling once you do that, and the result will speak for itself. Number 7. Fears and weaknesses. This brings us to our final topic, which is something that each and every one of us is familiar with: our anxieties and our shortcomings. We suffer more frequently in our imaginations than we do in the real world, Seneca once wrote. It is a profound truth that many of the concerns that we confront are often exaggerated in our brains, playing out in countless scenarios that are often more terrifying than the actual situation. But how we deal with those worries is of the utmost importance. Individuals that are intelligent are aware that it is best to work through their internal issues in secret, regardless of whether they are worries of failure, insecurity, or insecurity. These are not items that should be publicized or shared with your entire network of friends and acquaintances. Fears and vulnerabilities are an inevitable aspect of being human. Nevertheless, they do not and should not define us until we give them permission to do so. When we are going through difficult times, it is normal for us to start looking for assistance. Yet, there is a time and a place for exposing our weaknesses. People with intelligence are aware that it is not necessary to fight every conflict in public in every circumstance. If you open up too quickly or to the wrong people, you run the risk of being misunderstood, or perhaps receiving advice that is more about the person's discomfort with your challenges than it is about delivering real solutions to your problems. Take, for instance, the emotion of terror. It is not uncommon for people to experience fears such as fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, and fear of judgment. Nevertheless, these fears only become more powerful when you give them attention in an inappropriate manner. It's possible that you're reinforcing your worst concerns in your head when you talk about them in an excessively open manner. It becomes into a cycle. The more you disclose, the more genuine they appear to yourself. When you keep your fears to yourself, you give yourself the opportunity to tackle them in a calm and sensible manner without adding the external noise of the opinions of other people. You offer yourself the opportunity to develop through them, rather than remaining mired in a cycle of fear and doubt that you have created for yourself. Additionally, Seneca's teachings included the following: The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which depends on the morrow and wastes today. It is possible to expose oneself to the projections, recommendations, and anxiety of other people when you discuss your fears with an excessive number of individuals. Things like these might obscure your judgment and make it more difficult to see things clearly. Instead of assisting you in moving forward, the opinions of others can cause you to become disillusioned with yourself or force you to question your own capacity for resilience. You are able to keep your mental and emotional energies focused on what is important, which is the process of overcoming your shortcomings when you work through them in solitude. Create a mental image of your worries as a mountain that you have to scale. When you open up to everyone around you about the specifics of how steep and challenging the climb is, you give everyone the opportunity to provide their own unique viewpoint on the ascent. It's possible that some people will comfort you, while others will encourage you to give up. However, the hike is entirely up to you. Keeping that fear from publicly defining you is the most crucial thing, but you can choose to discuss it with a trusted mentor or close friend who will aid you. However, the most important thing is maintaining that fear. You give up the ability to regulate how you deal with your weaknesses the moment you make them public and broadcast them to the world. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters, Epictetus observed, which is another important lesson that can be learned from Stoic philosophy. The manner in which you deal with your shortcomings and worries is directly reflected in this. You run the risk of letting other people to dictate how you should react or how you should feel if you let them out into the world too soon. On the other hand, when you keep your troubles a secret, you're able to exercise control over how you interact with them. You are the one who makes the decision on whether or not to confront them head-on, how to learn from them, and how to proceed without the pressure or interference of the judgment of your peers. Knowing that confronting one's anxieties and vulnerabilities needs self-discipline, self-awareness, and a stable mind is something that an intelligent person is aware of. The protection of your personal story is achieved by the guarding of your weaknesses. You do not give anyone else the power to determine your course of action or to make the challenges you are facing feel even more difficult than they really are. Your strength is demonstrated by the way in which you choose to work through your darkest experiences in a quiet manner, concentrating on your own progress rather than seeking the sympathy or validation of others. You do not need to reveal your darkest events in order to demonstrate that you are strong. Consequently, the next time you feel the temptation to talk about your shortcomings with another person, take a moment to pause and ask yourself, will this help me? Or is it merely a means of gaining validation for the things that I am having difficulty with? You have the ability to choose not only who may see your vulnerabilities, but also when they can see them. Maintain a close relationship with them until you have thought about them thoroughly enough to determine how to deal with them in a manner that will strengthen you rather than weaken you. It is not via the act of broadcasting your worries that you will ultimately find the greatest strength. Rather, it is through the act of confronting them with tenacity and knowledge within the confines of your own mind. In addition, when you are ready, you will only share them with those individuals who will actually comprehend and appreciate you. And with that, you have it. The 7 things that wise people keep to themselves. Stoics teach us that the key to living a life of knowledge and peace is to concentrate on the things that are actually important to us and to safeguard the aspects of our existence that are considered sacred. You shouldn't only keep everything you've learned from this video to yourself. Instead, you should click the subscribe button and become a part of our expanding community of people who are interested in gaining knowledge and experience. Also, Keep in mind that Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind. You do not have control over external events." Recognize this, and you will discover the strength you need. Stay sensible, keep your private life private, and stay loyal to who you are until we meet again.